हरि ओम नमः सर्वेभ्यः। तद्धित प्रकरणस्य अयं 17 वर्गः। अस्मिन् वर्गे शैशिक प्रकरणस्य विषये अग्रे पठामः। येनाक्षरसमाम्नायम् अधिगम्य महेश्वरात् कृत्स्नं व्याकरणं प्रोक्तं तस्मै पाणिनये नमः। रुचिं भाष्यकारं पतञ्जलिं पाणिनिं सूत्रकारं च प्रणतोऽस्मि मुनित्रयम्। पूर्वेषु वर्गेषु शैशिक अधिकारस्य विषये अस्माभिः अध्ययनं प्रारब्धम्। तत्र प्राग्दीव्यति अर्थेषु 19 अर्थतः 240 अर्थपर्यन्तं ये सर्वे अर्थाः सन्ति ते शेषे इत्यस्मिन् अधिकारे आगच्छन्ति। अतः अस्य प्रकरणस्य शैशिक प्रकरणम् इति नाम दत्तमस्ति। शेषे इति अधिकारसूत्रं तथा विधिसूत्रम्। अधिकारसूत्रस्य कः अर्थः इति पृच्छामश्चेत् अस्मिन् प्रकरणे ये केऽपि प्रत्ययाः पठ्यन्ते यथा वृद्धाच्छः काशादिभ्यः ठञ् ठौ इत्येते ते सर्वे शेषेषु अर्थेषु भवन्ति। इत्युक्ते तत्र जातः, ततः आगतः, तत्र भवः, तस्य इदम् एतेषु सर्वेषु अर्थेषु एते प्रत्ययाः विधीयन्ते। शेषे इति विधिसूत्रम् अपि अस्ति। अस्य अर्थः अणप्रत्ययः शेषेषु इत्युक्ते तद्धित प्रकरणे अनूक्तेषु अर्थेषु भवति। इत्युक्ते अर्थानां संख्या तु अनन्ता अस्ति, परन्तु तद्धित प्रकरणे तु केचन एव अर्थाः पाठ्यन्ते। ये अर्थाः तद्धित प्रकरणे न पाठ्यन्ते तेषां विषये अपि अणप्रत्ययः शिष्टप्रयोगम् अनुसृत्य प्रयोक्तव्यः। यथा चक्षुषा गृह्यते तत् चक्षुष प्लस अण चाक्षुषं रूपम्। ब्रह्म जानाति सः ब्रह्म प्लस अण ब्राह्मणः। उपनिषदि वर्णितः औपनिषदः। एतानि उदाहरणानि दातुं शक्यन्ते। अस्मिन् विषये महाभाष्ये पाठिता एका कारिका अपि अस्माभिः दृष्टा। शैशिकात् मतुबर्थीयात् शैशिको मतुबर्थिकः सरूपः प्रत्ययो नेष्टः सन्नन्तात् न सनिष्यते। इत्युक्ते शैशिक प्रत्ययात् पुनः सरूपः इत्युक्ते तादृशः एव शैशिक प्रत्ययः न करणीयः। यथा शालायां भवः इत्यत्र वृद्धाच्छः इत्यनेन छ प्रत्यये कृते शाला प्लस छ शालीय इति प्राप्ते अग्रे शालीये भवः नो चेत् शालीयस्य इदं नो चेत् शालीये जातः नो चेत् शालीयात् आगतः एतेषु कोऽपि अर्थः अस्ति चेदेव अपि पुनः छ प्रत्ययस्य प्रयोगः न करणीयः। अतः यद्यपि शालीय शब्दः स्वयं वृद्धसंज्ञकः अस्ति तथापि छ प्रत्ययात् सरूपः छ प्रत्ययः न भवति इति कारणात् अत्र औत्सर्गिक रूपेण अण् प्रत्ययं कृत्वा शालीय प्लस अण् इज इक्वल टू शालीय इत्येव रूपं सिद्ध्यति। तदनन्तरम् अस्माभिः वृद्धसंज्ञा विस्तारेण दृष्टा। प्रथमाध्यायस्य प्रथमपादस्य अन्तिमानि 3 सूत्राणि वृद्धसंज्ञां पाठयन्ति। वृद्धिर्यस्याचामादिस्तद्वृद्धं त्यदादीनि च एङ् प्राचां देशे। तत्र वृद्धिर्यस्याचामादिस्तद्वृद्धम् अनेन सूत्रेण यस्य शब्दस्य प्रथमस्वरः वृद्धिसंज्ञकः अस्ति इत्युक्ते आकार ऐकार औकारः अस्ति तस्य वृद्धसंज्ञा भवति। यथा शाला कैलासः औषधिः आदयः। तदनन्तरम् अग्रिमं सूत्रं त्यदादीनि च अनेन सूत्रेण त्यदादिगणस्य शब्दानां वृद्धसंज्ञा भवति। त्यदादिगणः अयं सर्वादिगणस्य कश्चन उपगणः। त्यद् तद् यद् एतद् इदम् अदस् एक द्वि युष्मद् अस्मद् भवतु किम् एते शब्दाः अस्मिन् गणे पाठ्यन्ते। अन्तिमं सूत्रम् एङ् प्राचां देशे। अत्र प्राचाम् इति शब्दः आचार्याणाम् इत्यस्य विशेषणं नास्ति अपि तु देशे इत्यस्य विशेषणमस्ति। पूर्वदिशायां विद्यमानाः ये एङ् प्रत्याहारान्तादेशाः इत्युक्ते एकारादि एङ् प्रत्याहारादिदेशाः इत्युक्ते एकारादि नो चेत् ओकारादिदेशाः तेषां वृद्धसंज्ञा भवति। अस्मिन् विषये भाष्ये किञ्चित् उक्तमस्ति यत् अस्माभिः पूर्वं न दृष्टं, परन्तु केनचित् अत्र निर्देशः कृतः, अतः पश्यामः। एङ् प्राचां देशे शैशिकेषु इति वक्तव्यम् इत्युक्ते एङ् प्राचां देशे इत्यनेन निर्दिष्टा या वृद्धसंज्ञा अस्ति सा शैशिकप्रकरणे एव प्रयोक्तव्या। शैशिकप्रकरणात् बहिः अस्याः संज्ञायाः प्रयोगः न भवति। इत्युक्ते वृद्धसंज्ञायाः भवति, परन्तु एङ् प्राचां देशे इत्यनेन या वृद्धसंज्ञा जायते तस्याः प्रयोगः शैशिकप्रकरणात् बहिः न भवति। So surprisingly, neither Siddhanta Kaumudi nor Kashika Vritti talk about this specific clause of Mahabhashya, and I don't know the real reason, but my best guess is that outside the Shaishika Prakaranam, there is no real opportunity of applying Eng Pracham Deshe and the Vruddha Samnya generated by that. And therefore, the two Vrittis, Kashika Vrittis and the Siddhanta Kaumudi, nor any of their commentaries specifically mention this, because it might be something that happens to be obvious. But I don't know the real reason over here. Somebody just pointed this out to me. Actually, I had missed it earlier, but somebody just pointed out to this to me. And according to this, Eng Pracham Deshe ityanena या वृद्धसंज्ञा विधीयते सा शैशिकेषु अर्थेषु एव भवति। अग्रे एकम् अस्मिन् विषये बालमनोरमा वदति देशविशेषनाम्नः चेत् एङ्गादि एव वृद्धसंज्ञकः। So this is actually a नियम सूत्र। प्राचां देशः अस्ति चेत् एङ्गादि अस्ति चेदेव वृद्धसंज्ञकः भवति इति अस्य अर्थः। अग्रिमं वार्तिकम् अपि अस्माभिः अपठ्यत। वा नामधेयस्य वृद्धसंज्ञा वक्तव्या इत्यनेन यज्ञदत्त देवदत्त एतादृशानां शब्दानां शिष्टप्रयोगम् अनुसृत्य वृद्धसंज्ञा भवति। Speaking, every name in the world will get a वृद्धसंज्ञा optionally by this, but again we have to resort to the shishtaprayogas, and therefore whenever this vartika is seen used by the shishtaprayoga or by some prayoga where a vruddha samnya has been attributed, we use this vartika to justify that. Now, with this background of vruddha samnya, we studied this particular sheet. We saw that there were some set of sutras in this particular sheet which were related to the vruddha samnya. Vruddhachaha, bhavataha thak chasau, kashyadibhyaha thaithau, vahika gramebhyascha, tatha vibhasha ushinareshu. एतानि सर्वाणि सूत्राणि वृद्धसंज्ञकस्य विषये सन्ति। एतेषाम् अस्माभिः पूर्वेषु वर्गेषु अध्ययनं कृतम्। अस्य किञ्चित् पुनरावर्तनं कुर्मः। तत्र प्रथमं सूत्रं वृद्धाच्छः इत्यनेन वृद्धसंज्ञकात् शैशिकेषु अर्थेषु छ प्रत्ययः विधीयते। कानिचन उदाहरणानि अत्र दत्तानि सन्ति। So the most important apavad or most important sutra of the Shaishika Prakaranam is this Vruddhat Chaha. There is a lot of chance that a word that you come across will start with an akara or an aikara or an aukara, or will be one of these Tyadadi Gana, or typically it can also be a name because of Vanamadhyasya Vruddha Samnya Vaktavya, and therefore you will get a lot of examples of application of this Vruddhat Chaha. So right here, so for example, when we say Paniniya Vyakaranam, so the word Paniniya itself is derived from Paninehe idam. Panini is Vruddha Samnyaka plus Cha Paniniyam. So you see a lot of such examples. Asya apavadaha bhavataha thak chasau tyadadigane bhavat shabdaha pathyate ataha tasya Vruddha Samnya asti parantu anena sutrena tasya tasmat thak tatha chas एतौ प्रत्ययो भवतः भवत्क तथा भवदीय एतानि एते तस्य रूपे जायते। अग्रिमं सूत्रं काश्यादिभ्यः ठञ्ठौ। अस्य सूत्रस्य विषये अस्माभिः विस्तारेण चर्चा कृता। काश्यादिगणस्य शब्देभ्यः शैशिकेषु अर्थेषु ठञ् तथा इठौ इठ प्रत्ययौ भवतः। उभयत्र यकार एव विपर्यस्तदेशः अनुबन्धसंज्ञकः स्त्रीप्रत्यये विशेषः. So Kashika and Kashiki are the forms. वृद्धात् इति किमर्थम् अनुवर्तते? देवदत्त इत्यस्य शब्दस्य विस्तारेण अध्ययनं कृत्वा अस्य प्रश्नस्य अस्माभिः उत्तरं ज्ञातम्. अग्रिमं सूत्रम् अस्माभिः पठितं वाहीकग्रामेभ्यश्च. वाहीकग्रामेभ्यश्च इत्यनेन वाहिकेषु ये वृद्धसंज्ञकाः देशाः तेषां विषये ठञ् तथा यिठ प्रत्ययौ भवतः. उदाहरणं शाकलिक नो चेत् मान्थव एतानि उदाहरणानि अस्माभिः दृष्टानि. तदनन्तरं विभाषा उशीनरेषु एतत् सूत्रमपि अस्माभिः पठितं. So the countries that lie on the intersection of the vahikas and the ushinaras, they get an optional thai and a yitha. They also get a ch. So that was about the first of the various sections that we studied. So it was this yellow colored section that we studied 2 classes ago. Then in the previous class, we studied this red colored section, pretty big section, which was about the deshas or deshe thai ityatah arabhya agre गहादिभ्यश्च इति पर्यन्तम् अस्माभिः अस्य अध्ययनं कृतम्. So let's quickly try to take a look at it. तत्र प्रमुखं सूत्रमस्ति ओर् देशे ठय. यः कोऽपि देशः उवर्णान्तः अस्ति तस्मात् ठय प्रत्ययः भवति. So the examples that we saw over there were शवरजम्बू and निषादकर्षु. शवरजम्बूतः आगतः शावरजम्बुक तथैव नैषादकर्षुक आदयः. अत्र अस्माभिः एतदपि दृष्टं यत् अस्मिन् प्रकरणे केवलं ठय इत्यस्य अनुवृत्तिः न लभ्यते इति काशिकाकारः वदति. सो वस्तुतः काश्चादिभ्यः ठञ् इठौ इत्यस्मात् केवलं ठञ् इत्यस्य अनुवृत्तिः न लभ्यते, अतः अत्र ठञ् इति निर्दिष्टमस्ति. एतत् काशिकाकारः वदति, परन्तु अस्मिन् विषये न्यासकारः वदति ञिठ इत्यस्य अस्वरितत्वं ज्ञापयितुम् अत्र ठञ् ग्रहणं कृतमस्ति. अस्य कः अर्थः एतदपि अस्माभिः अयमपि अस्माभिः विस्तारेण दृष्टः. तदनन्तरं वृद्धात् प्राचाम् इति अग्रिमं नियमसूत्रम्. उवर्णान्तः यः पूर्वसंदिशायाः वृद्धसंज्ञकः देशः तस्मात् ठञ् प्रत्ययः भवति. So the previous sutra gives a ठञ् for all the uvarnanta deshas. So technically speaking, a eastern vruddhasamnyaka uvarnanta desha is also included over here because this says all uvarnanta deshas. But still the next sutra explicitly talk about eastern vruddhasamnyaka uvarnanta desha, and therefore this is a niyama sutra. So if it is an eastern but an avruddhasamnyaka desha, tasmat na bhavati. Example, Mallavastu is the name of the country. Mallavastushu bhavaha mallavastava ityatartu an eva bhavati. The next sutra that we saw was dhanva ya upadhat vuya. Atra dhanva ityukte marusthala desert. यह वृद्धसंज्ञकः शब्दः मरुस्थल विशेषवाच्ये अस्ति. नो चेत् योपध इत्युक्ते यस्मिन् यकारः उपधायाम् अस्ति तस्मात् वुय प्रत्ययः भवति. द एग्जांपल्स दैट वी सॉ वाज ऐरावताख्ये धन्वे भवः ऐरावतकः, नो चेत् सांकाश्ये भवः सांकाश्यकः, and so on. So that was or deshe thaya and dhanvayopadhat vuyam. The next sutras that we saw were prasthapuravahantacha and ropadhetoho pracham. Tatra prasthapuravahantacha, very simple sutra. Yaha vruddhasamnyakah desha prasthapuravahantaha tasmat vuya pratyayah bhavati. So the examples Mala, Prastha, Nandipura, Falgunivaha, these were the examples that we saw. And the deshaha yaha pracham asti तथा रोपधः अस्ति यस्मिन् रेफः उपधायाम् अस्ति. एतादृशस्य देशस्य विषये अपि वुय प्रत्ययः भवति. पाटलीपुत्रे भवः. So there is a ref in the upadha. त plus र plus अ is equal to त्र. अत्र र उपधायाम् अस्ति. पाटलीपुत्रे भवः पाटलीपुत्रकः. And then यः ईकारान्तः वृद्धसंज्ञकः देशः. So रोपधेतुः is broken down as र plus upadha plus ita and therefore that's the dirgha ikaranta vruddha samyaka desha, this clause. Tasmadapi vuya. The example that we saw was makandyam bhavaha makandikaha. The next pair of sutras that we saw was about the janapada. Janapada tadavadhyoho cha. So janapada is a special type of a grammar. Tad avadhyoho indicates the periphery. So I gave the example like a national capital region, NCR is what we call. There is Delhi in the center, and then there are Noida and other cities, Gurgaon, other cities lying around. So janapada tad avadhyoho cha. So if there is a vruddha samyaka word which represents a janapada as well as an avadhi, so janapada vachi avadhi samyakaha cha. So both of them should be represented. Tasmat vuyam. So again, with the same example, if you just say Delhi, it's a janapada but not an avadhi. But if you say national capital region, it includes everything. So that's a word that can fit this definition. So the example that we studied over there was Adarshe Janapade Avadhu Bhavaha Adarshakaha. So all these names, it's very difficult for us to imagine their significance or validity today. But we have to believe, or we have to reverse engineer and find out how they existed in the Acharya Panini's time. Somebody who is interested in the history of ancient India might find all these sutras pretty useful, because they will give very big hints towards how the geographical arrangement in Panini's time was. In the Taddhita Prakaranam, this is more of a theoretical nature, but it's important to understand the sutras, so we are spending this time. The next one was avruddhadapi bahuvachana vishayat. Asmin vishaye vayam drishtvantaha yaha janapadvachi avadhi samyakaha shabdaha bahuvachaneva prayujyate tasmat vuya pratyayah vruddha samyayaha na satya vruddha samyayam na satyam api bhavati. So what exactly bahuvachane eva prayujyate means, that also we studied in the previous class. It's written over here in brief. You can go through it later on. The next few sutras that we talked were Kacha Agni Vaktra Varta Uttara Padat. So in the previous class, I incorrectly mentioned this as Garta, I think. I taught Kacha Agni Vaktra Garta Uttara Padat. Unfortunately, the Kashika book that I had a typing mistake and I just couldn't realize. But later on, when I reflected other books, I saw that this was a typo. So it's actually Varta. And the examples over there is Bahuvarte Bhavaha, Bahuvartakaha. The next sutra, Dhumadibhyascha. Dhumadiganasya ye deshavacha shabdaha, tebhyaha vuya pratyayaha, Dhume Bhavaha, Dhaumakaha, Khande Bhavaha, Khandakaha, and so on. So there is some information which was not in the previous slides which I have added over here, specifically the bullets which say how this pratyaya overrides the available pratyayas. So by Dhumadibhyascha, you get a vuya pratyaya for some words which is an apavada of thai and itha. For some other words, it's an apavada of cha. So those who are interested in going in details can just read these lines later on and can understand the badhya badhaka bhava between the pratyayas. Where it is extremely important, I'll definitely talk about it. But these are the sutras that we can just skip through for now. Agrimam sutram asmabhi drishtam kopadhat ana yatra kakaraha upadhayam asti tasmat shabdat ana pratyayah bhavati. So rishika, ikshvaku, mahishika etani asya udaharanani. Agre asmabhi drishtam kachchadibhyascha sindhu varnu etani udaharanani tatra asmabhi drishtani. तदनन्तरं गर्तोत्तरपदाच्छः इत्यपि सूत्रम् अस्माभिः पठितम्. अग्रे गहादिभ्यश्च इति अन्तिमं सूत्रम् अस्मिन् प्रकरणे अस्माभिः दृष्टम्. So this is गर्तोत्तरपदाच्छ and गहादिभ्यश्च. You can see them over here. So there are some 4 or 5 sutras sitting over here, slightly different. They are not directly related to the desha section, but you get the anuvritti of desha all the way in the bottom, and therefore I have combined them together, but we will see some of them towards the end of today's class. So that was the second of the 4 or 5 sections that were present in this sheet. Then we went to the next one, which is Kalavachi words, the one that is in the blue over here. kalat thaya, shraddhe sharadaha, and so on. So these were the words that we saw in the previous class, towards the end of the previous class. So in them, the first sutra that we saw was kalat thaya. काल विशेषवाची ये वाचिनः ये प्रातिपदिकाः तेभ्यः शैषिकेषु अर्थेषु ठय प्रत्ययः भवति. So this is the second important sutra of the entire Shaishika Prakaranam. So as I said, Vruddhachaha is one of them. Kalat thaya is the second of them. So Mase bhava masikaha, Varshe bhava varshikaha, Samvatsare bhavaha samvatsarikaha, and so on. अस्मिन् विषये अस्माभिः अयमपि विषयः ज्ञातः यत्र कालः अस्पष्टरूपेण निर्दिश्यते तत्रापि अनेन सूत्रेण ठय प्रत्यय विधानं भवति. यथा कदम्बपुष्पे भवः कादम्बपुष्पिकः. अत्र कदम्बपुष्प इति वस्तुतः कालविशेषवाची नास्ति, परन्तु यस्मिन् मासे नो चेत् यस्मिन् ऋतौ कदम्बपुष्पाणि विकसन्ति सः कालः कदम्बपुष्पः, तत्र भवः कादम्बपुष्पिकः इति अपि अस्य प्रयोगः भवति. अग्रे अस्माभिः अस्य केचन अपवादाः दृष्टाः. श्राद्धे शरदः. श्राद्धे अभिधेये शरद शब्दात् ठय प्रत्ययः भवति, अन्यत्र तु अण् एव अस्ति. विभाषा रोग आतपयोः. रोग इत्युक्ते डिसीज और इंजुरी, आतप इत्युक्ते हीट. रोगः अस्ति चेत् नो चेत् आतपः अस्ति चेत् शरद शब्दात् वैकल्पिकः ठय प्रत्ययः भवति, पक्षे अण् भवति. And then we saw nisha pradoshabhyam. We derived the words naishika, naisha, pradoshika, and pradosha using this sutra. तदनन्तरं श्वसस्तुट् इत्यत्र श्वस् शब्दात् ठय प्रत्ययः तथा तुट् आगमः भवति इति अस्माभिः दृष्टं. श्वः भवः शौवस्तिकः इति अस्य उदाहरणम्. द्वारादीनां च अनेन सूत्रेण अत्र ऐच् आगमः भवति. So this is very similar. The prakriya is very similar to the word vayyakarana is what we saw. तदनन्तरं सन्धिवेलादि ऋतुनक्षत्रेभ्यः अण इत्यनेन सन्धिवेलादिगणे पाठिताः ये शब्दाः, ऋतुवाचकाः ये शब्दाः तथा नक्षत्रवाचिनः ये शब्दाः तेभ्यः अण् प्रत्ययः भवति. अस्यापि उदाहरणानि अस्माभिः दृष्टानि. अग्रे प्रावृषेण्यः. अत्र प्रावृषेण्यं रघुवंशस्य उदाहरणं स्वीकृत्य अस्माभिः अयं शब्दः पठितः. तदनन्तरं वर्षाभ्यः ठक वार्षिकः इति अस्माभिः दृष्टं. फाइनली अन्ते सायं चिरं प्राण्ये प्रगे अव्ययेभ्यः ट्युट्युलौ तुट्च अनेन सूत्रेण सायन्तन, चिरन्तन, प्राण्येतन, प्रगेतन तथा अन्ये शब्दाः ह्यस्तन, अद्यतन, श्वस्तन एते सर्वे शब्दाः सिद्ध्यन्ति इति अस्माभिः दृष्टं. कानिचन वार्तिकानि दृष्टानि. अग्र आदि पश्चात् डिमच् तथा अन्तात् च इति वक्तव्यम्. इदानीं किञ्चित् अग्रे गच्छामः. So this completes the third portion of the kalas. So we studied the portion of the vruddhas, we studied the portion of the deshas, and we studied the portion of the kalas. Now there is a fourth portion over here just consisting of 3 sutras, and this is specifically for the words yushmad and asmad. So the 2 sarvanamas yushmad and asmad, remember they are in the tyadadi gana. Tyad tad yad etat idam adas ekadvi yushmad asmad bhavatu kim. Therefore they are in the tyadadi gana and they are expected to behave like vruddha samyaka. But here there are some apavadas given to yushmad and asmad, which we will see for now. So chaturthadhyaye se tritiya padasya adini त्रीणि सूत्राणि. युष्मद् अस्मदोः अन्यतरस्यां खैच, तस्मिन्नणि च युष्माक अस्माकौ, and तवक ममकौ एकवचने. कः अर्थः? So we'll first see the 3 sutras because they are very related to each other, and then we will talk about their examples. So yushmad asmadoho anyatarasyaam khaicha. So anyatarasyam is optional. Optionally, the yushmad and asmad will get a khay pratyaya. Now observe that there is a cha and there is an anyatarasyam. So when we say anyatarasyam, it is an option and therefore we fall back to the default ana. In addition, there is a cha over here, which means that the khay pratyaya is applicable as well as whatever anuvritti comes from the previous sutra is applicable. So if you look at the sutras over here, yushmad asmadyo anyatarasyam khay cha, all the way starting here, there is an cha pratyaya which is being discussed over here. So you see all the previous sutra starting with gartottara padachaha, there is an anuvritti of cha which comes all the way, and that's cha which comes over here along with cha. So the entire sutra here would be yushmadasmadoho anyatarasyam cha cha. So you get a khay pratyaya and you get a cha pratyaya, and in addition, because there is an anyatarasyam, you all the way fall back to the default ana. Therefore, asya sutrasya kaha arthaha? Yushmad shabdat tatha asmad shabdat shaishikeshu artheshu khay pratyayah bhavati cha pratyayah bhavati etau dvau vikalpena bhavataha pakshe ana api bhavati. So there are three pratyayas that are given over here: khay, cha, and ana. So that's the gist of this first sutra. What happens when these pratyayas are attached, we will see on the next slide. But before that, it is important to study the next two sutras. So we will take them here. The next sutra says, tasmin anicha yushmaka asmakau. Tasmin anicha. So tasmin ityukte tasmin khay pratyaye pare. So the previous sutra says the words yushmad and asmad get the three pratyayas khay, cha, and ana. The next sutra says tasmin ityukte tasmin khay pratyaye pare. See, there is only the direct mention is only for khay, even though we have concluded that there is a cha and ana, but the direct mention is of khay, and therefore when you say tasmin in the next sutra, it only refers to the khay. It cannot refer to the inferred pratyayas. It will only refer to the direct pratyaya khaya. Therefore it says tasmin ityukte tasmin khay pratyaye anicha. So he says an pratyaya also. So tasmin khay pratyaye and an pratyaye pare yushmaka asmakau. So what is it trying to say is that tasmin khay pratyaye pare an pratyaye cha pare yushmad shabdasya yushmaka iti adeshah bhavati asmad shabdasya asmaka iti adeshah bhavati. So what it is trying to say, in the first sutra it says yushmad and asmad get the three pratyayas khay, cha, and ana. In the second sutra he says out of these three pratyayas, when you attach khay and ana, yushmad and asmad are respectively converted to yushmaka and asmaka. So for cha pratyaya, this conversion is not there. For ana and for khaya, this conversion happens. Atra tasmin anicha. So tasmin kha pratyaye tatha ana pratyaye pare yushmaka asmakau dvau adeshau dattau atra dvau sthaninau staha yatha sankhyam tasya mapping bhavati yushmad ityasya yushmaka iti adeshah asmad ityasya asmaka iti adeshah. Ataha tasmin khay pratyaye pare an pratyaye cha pare yushmad ityasya yushmaka asmad ityasya asmaka etau adeshau bhavatah. The next sutra he says very simple. Tavaka mamakau ekavachane. So he says, but if you want to consider ekavachana, then the adeshas are not yushmaka and asmaka. The adeshas are tavaka and mamaka. So tasmin khai pratyaye pare anpratyaye cha pare ekavachanasya prakriyayam tu युष्मत् शब्दस्य तवक तथा अस्मद् शब्दस्य ममक एतौ आदेशौ भवतः. So the bottom line is that the yushmad and asmad will get three pratyayas: khaya, ana, and cha. Nothing has been told for cha, but for khaya and ana, yushmad and asmad will be converted to yushmaka and asmaka for dvivachan and bahuvachan, and tavaka and mamaka for ekvachan. With these points in mind, now we can see the prakriya. So first, Vadatu?
Go to the last slide.
Yes.
Here in the 432, tasmin means only for the khai.
Yes.
But in the explanation, you said the khai and anpratyaya pare.
Because there is ani written over here, right? Tasmin, ani, cha.
Okay. Right.
Okay. So tasmin means khai and ani is given over here.
Okay. And second doubt, that mamaka now understood, but where does mamaka come from?
We'll talk about it in a minute.
Okay.
Okay. So the adeshas are tavaka and mamaka. We will see the prakriya in a minute. So let's see about the dvivachan and bahuvachan first. So when we are talking about dvivachan and bahuvachan, remember that we have to do the adeshas as yushmaka and asmaka. And only for kha and ana, there is no pratyaya adesha told for cha. So the prakriya yushmad plus khaya, yushmad ityasya yushmaka iti adesha plus khaya. Ya is itta, therefore adivruddhihi yaushmaka khakarasya ayaneyiniya phadakachagam pratyayadinam ityanena ina iti adesha bhavati. Dirgha I followed by na. Yushmaka plus ina yaushmakina kina anatvam bhavati. Shakar is there, therefore anatvam bhavati. So yaushmakina ityukte yours. Yours in the sense for two or more people. When we say yushmakam bhavaha, yushmat sujataha, yushmakam idam, and so on, we can use the word yaushmakina. In the same way, we can derive asmakina. So ours, ours, asmakina. When you have an ana pratyaya, yushmad will become yushmaka, yushmaka plus ana, yaushmaka. Similarly, asmaka. So the meanings are same. Yours means yaushmakina or yaushmaka. Ours means asmakina or asmaka. And then when you apply yushmad plus cha, we know that cha becomes iya. Very famous words yushmadiya and asmadiya are obtained by this prakriya. So yushmadiya ityukte yours, yushmakam bhavaha, no chet yushmakam idam, no chet yushmat sujataha, and so on. Similarly, asmadiya. So that's about the prakriya for dvivachan and bahuvachan. The prakriya for ekavachan, yushmad plus khaya, yushmad becomes tavaka, adivruddhihi, tavakina. Asmad becomes mamaka, mamakina. Anpratyaye pare, same. Yushmad becomes tavaka, tavaka, adivruddhi. Asmad becomes mamaka, and what you asked a minute ago, anpratyaye pare adivruddhi, mamaka. So mamaka of Pandava chaiva kimakurvata Sanjaya. So that mamaka, one of the very famous words. And then for the cha pratyaya, remember that in the previous case there was no adesha for the prakriti, but here there is a sutra in the angakarya pratyaya uttara padayoscha. So we will not go in the details of the sutra, but whatever is required from the sutra I have mentioned over here. युष्मद् शब्दे विद्यमानस्य युष्म इत्यस्य सर्वेषु प्रत्ययेषु परेषु त्व इति आदेशः भवति. So this is only for the ekavachana. The yushma part gets converted to tva, the remains as it is. Now this sutra is very commonly used because if you remember the chart of the yushmad word, you have panchami ekvachan as tvat, you have saptami ekvachan as tvai. All these words are derived using exactly the same sutra. So yushma becomes tvaya, for example, tritiya ekvachan. So yushma becomes tva using this sutra, and that's what the sutra is used over here. So this is a sutra that happens in presence of a general pratyaya. So yushma ityasya general pratyaya pare ekavachane tva iti adesha bhavati. So yushmad becomes tvad, tvad plus cha, tvadiya. Tathaiva asmad becomes mad. Asmad shabde vidyamanasya asma ityasya ma adesha bhavati. So same, asmad, if you remember the chart of asmad, maya, mat, mayi, and so on. So all these forms are generated using this sutra. So asmad plus cha, mad plus cha, madiya. So all these famous words, yushmadiya, asmadiya, tvadiya, madiya, yoshmakina, asmakina, tavaka, mamaka, and so on, all these words are derived using the Shaishika Sutrani, and we just saw the prakriya of this here. So let's go ahead. With this, we have covered the part of these three sutras, the one that is in the purple color on the screen. So there are these 4-5 sutras in the white color, which are very simple. Probably we'll cover them in like 5 minutes. So let's go through these sutras. Ardhat yata. I mean, as I read it, you should be able to guess the meanings. Ardhat yata para avara adhama uttama purvat cha dik purva padat thai cha grama janapada ekadeshad thai thau. Yet I thayo madhyat maha asam pratike dvipad anusamudram yaya. So I think I'll skip 2 or 3 of them, but the ones that are very important, they derive very useful words. I'm going to cover them. So ardhat yata. Ardha means half. Ardha shabdat shaishikeshu artheshu yata pratyayah bhavati. Ardhe bhavaha ardhyaha. Para avara adhama uttama purvat cha. So for the words para, avara, adhama and uttama, if they come as a purva pada of that ardha, then you get the same pratyaya yata. So this is like a convoluted way of saying parardha, avarardha, adhamardha and uttamardha. So for these 4 words, you get yata. So I mean, we can combine this sutra saying ardhat, parardhat, avarardhat, adhamardhat, uttamardhat. Instead of that, Acharya breaks them down into the 2 because he wants to take the anuvritti of para in the sutra. No, I don't think there is an anuvritti in the next sutra. Probably just for ease of creating the sutras, he has broken it down into 2 sutras. So parardha plus yata parardhya. So second half. Avarardha. Ava is the inferior half. Adhama is also inferior half. Uttama is superior, the superior half. So parardhya, avarardhya, adhamardhya, uttamardhya. Etani rupani siddhyanti. Agrimam asti dik purva padat thai cha. So again, ardha comes over here and you have dik purva padat. So for dik means a disha like purva, paschima and so on. So if the disha comes as a purva pada, so I think that is the reason why Acharya separated these 2 sutras, that only ardha is what goes as an anuvritti over here. Para, avara doesn't go as an anuvritti. So he thought that it's better to separate out these sutras. So dik purva padatthai cha, so purvardha, paschimardha, dakshinardha, and so on. Etesham vishaye yat pratyayah api bhavati, thai pratyayah api bhavati. So words like purvardhya, no chet paurvardhika. So thai thasya ikaha ityanena ika adesha, yakarasya adivruddhihi paurvardhika, paschimardhika, no chet dakshinardhya, dakshinardhika, and so on. Ete shabdaha atra siddhyanti. The next one is madhyat maha. Very simple. Madhya plus ma, madhyama. So madhye jataha madhyamaha. Purvasmin varge vayam drishtavantah adi shabdat dimach pratyayah bhavati, anta shabdat api dimach pratyayah bhavati, ante jataha antimaha, adau jataha adimaha, madhye jataha madhyamaha. Agre asti dvipat anusamudram yaya. So if there is a dvipa which is close to one end of a samudra, anusamudre, samudra samipam asti. So on one side of samudra is what you can say. Tasmin vishaye yaya pratyayah bhavati. So dvaipya, dvipa plus yaya dvaipya. Anena prakarena etani sarvani rupani siddhyanti. So as I said, very simple section, 5-6 sutras, and derives words that are used almost pretty regularly. Now we will jump back to all the way top of this sheet. There is some set of white sutras present over here. Again, a lot of them are pretty easy to follow up. So we will take some of them, and I think that concludes with this sheet. So except for this top section, we have covered everything. We covered the Vruddhachaha, this section. We covered the Deshavachi section. We covered the Yushmad Asmad section. We covered this Ardhadyata white colored section. And we covered the Kalavachi section. So, and that's the end of the sheet. So we will cover this top white colored section so as to conclude this Anupavadaha of the Shaishika Prakaranam. So the first sutra that we want to cover, they are pretty much in the sequence. So Rashtra Avara Parat Ghakhau. So atra prathamam sutram asti Rashtra Avara Parat Ghakhau. Two words, Rashtra and Avara Para. Avara Para means Samudra, ocean. Rashtra means Rashtra, country. So Rashtra and Avara Parat, Gha and Khau. So Gha pratyaya goes with the Rashtra. Kha pratyaya goes with the avara para. Rashtre bhavaha rashtriyaha. Please understand there is a rasva ikar over here. When you say vruddhachaha, you get a dirgha ikara. So shaliya, no chet paniniya, ityata sarvatra dirgha ikara asti. Parantu gha pratyaye krite tu rasvaha ikaraha bhavati. Rashtre bhavaha rashtriyaha. Avara para plus kha, avara parina. Tatra dirgha asti. Kha ityasya in adeshaha avara parina. So avara pare bhava, samudre bhavaha avara parinaha. Asmin vishaye vartika dvayam uktam vigruhitat api ishyate. So he says avara para is actually made up of two words, avara and para. Avara means a bank, like a bank of a river. One end is what you say. Or in this context, it means a limit beyond which the water cannot pass. Para means beyond. So out of boundaries, beyond. So samudra or the ocean is described as boundless. So I mean, you can only see one boundary of the ocean. For somebody who is standing on one boundary, it is boundless all the way on the other side. That's how the samudra is described over here. Para means beyond. Avara means a bank or a boundary or a limit. So ocean or a samudra is somebody who is beyond a limit as far as the human vision is concerned. And that's how the name avara para is derived. It consists of two words, avara and para. And the Vartika says, Vigruhitat api ishyate. Vigruhita ityukte separate. So if you separate the words avara para, tatra api kha pratyayah bhavati iti arthah. Para ityasmat api kha pratyayah, avara ityasmat api kha pratyayah. So para plus kha parinah, parina iti pratipadikam, avara plus kha avarina iti pratipadikam. The next vartika says viparitat cha. So the point is, you can combine the words avara and para in either way. So you can say avara para or you can say paravara. Both of these words are used in the literature to refer to ocean. Therefore, he says viparitat api ayam pratyayah bhavati. So paravara plus kha iti api paravarina. So effectively, Kshamyatam. So effectively what he is trying to say is that avara para, avara, para and paravara, the four words will get the kha pratyaya and a single rashtra word will get the gha pratyaya, is what the essence of this sutra is. The immediate next sutra, again very easy, gramat ya khaya. So grame bhavaha gramyaha noched graminaha. So very well used or well known words are derived over here. Grame bhavaha gramyaha, grama plus ya gramya, yasyeti chaityakara lopaha, grama plus khaya gramina. Katradibhyah dhakay, again very simple sutra. The words of the Katradi Gana, I think these are the names of the places. The Pushkara is lotus. So Katradibhyah dhakay, Katrau bhava katreyakam. So dhakaya, dha becomes a ya, ka is sitting over there. So the whole thing means a ya ka, and ya is used for adivriddhi. So katri becomes katreyakam. I think it is katru, if I'm not mistaken. Let me check. It's katri. Katri becomes katreyakam. Umbhi becomes aumbheyakam. Pushkara becomes paushkareyakam. So there is an a ya plus there is a ka gives an a ya ka. So that's the words of the Katradi Gana. The next sutra we will discuss it in a little bit more details with some references from the literature. So that's 4 to 96. So we saw Rashtravara Parad Ghakhau, we saw Gramad Yakhayau, Katradibhya Dhakay. The next sutra here over here is Kula Kukshi Grivabhyaha Shva Asya Alankareshu. So there are three words, Kula, Kukshi, Griva. So Kula Kukshi Grivabhyaha Shva Asi Alankareshu Dhakay. So the Dhakay Pratyaya comes as an anuvritti from the previous sutra. There are three meanings. So there are three meanings and there are three words. So when the word Kula is used to indicate a shwana, a dog. When the word Kukshi is used to refer or indicate an asi, which is basically a weapon, a sword. And when the word Griva is used to indicate an alankara, you get the Dhakay Pratyaya. So Kula Shabdat Shwanam Nirdeshayitum, Kukshi Shabdat Asim Nirdeshayitum, Tatha Griva Shabdat Alankaram Nirdeshayitum, Shaishikeshu Artheshu, Yatha Vihita Ityukte Dhakay Pratyaya Bhavati. I should ideally just say Dhakay over here. So Shaishikeshu Artheshu, Dhakay Pratyaya Bhavati. Now the point to understand over here is that the word Kula does not mean Shwana. The word Kukshi does not mean Asi. And the word Griva does not mean Alankara. So what this is trying to say is that when you want to attach the Dhakaya Pratyaya to the Kula and the resultant word will be used to refer to a Shwana, then this sutra has to be used. So Kula will give a Kaule Yaka be used to refer to a dog. So you cannot use kauleyaka for anything else. You must use kauleyaka to refer to a dog. Similarly, kukshi means abdomen. So anything can be, tatra bhavaha, asmin arthe, anything can be used to refer to abdomen. But this particular sutra is given to indicate a sword. So a sword which is attached to the abdomen, kukshau bhavaha kauksheyakaha asihi. So to indicate a sword which is attached to the abdomen, you attach the dhakaya pratyaya and you get the word kauksheyaka, which should refer to a sword and nothing else. Similarly, griva means neck. So anything, you can put anything in the neck. But if you want to talk about an alankara, then only you attach a dhakaya pratyaya. So grivayam bhavaha ityatra dhakaya pratyayam krutva graiveyaka ityasya alankaraha asminneva arthe prayogaha kartavyaha. So the word kauleyaka must be used to refer to a dog, kauksheyaka must be used to refer to a sword, and graiveyaka must be used to refer to alankara. You can say effectively they are synonyms. And we will see 3 references from the literature, one for each word, to understand how this usage is done. So the first example is from the Laghu Yoga Vasishtha. So Laghu Yoga Vasishtha is a philosophical text which is attributed to Valmiki Maharshi. And Vasishtha Rushina Sri Ramachandraya yaha upadeshaha kritaha asti adhyayana dashayaha kale tasya upadeshasya atra charcha asti. So that upadesha has been documented by the Valmiki Rishi in this Yoga Vasishtha, or a shorter version Laghu Yoga Vasishtha, which has about 6,000 shlokas. So this advice given by the Vasishtha to the Sri Ramachandra tells about how one should behave. It's basically a philosophical text. So what one should aim for, what one should not aim for, how one should react, and so on. So this is one of the shlokas over there. It says, Itaschetascha suvyagram vyarthameva bhidhavati dura durataram dirgham grame kaule yako tatha. So very easy actually to understand. Grame yatha kaule yakaha dhavati. How a dog roams around from one grama to another without purpose. In the same way, people will run for the worldly pleasures, so money or whatever else, from one place to another, vyartha, and will keep themselves busy for that for no reason, is what he's saying. So people will run after the materialistic things from one place to another unnecessarily, just like how a dog will run from one grama to another, will cause dirgha istukte, will run for a long period of length and time for probably no reason. So that's how this particular shloka from Laghu Yoga Vasishtha means. I picked it up to indicate this kaule yaka word. So this actually grame kaule yako tatha is actually a very common idiom. So just like the way a dog runs in a grama, this particular phrase is used to describe so many things. So there are some references where they say manaha dhavati. So the mind will wander on subjects in a way like a dog runs in a grama. So anything that randomly moves for no purpose, to give an upama of that, grame kaule yako tatha is a phrase that typically used. So for example, you might see some panditas using this in their statements, like grame kaule yako yatha. So effectively it means is that this is all this is all waste of time. All these efforts are fruitless, is what the essence of this idiom is. Vadatu?
Last word is tatha or yatha?
Yatha is assumed. The one given over here is tatha. At least the edition that I saw, there is tatha over there.
Because the way you're telling, that is the upama. Grame.
Yeah, but tatha can be, the anvaya can be made with the first line, right? It's not necessarily attached to the kaule yaka.
Okay.
Okay, but I don't know. I mean, there could be Patha Bhedas possible. So
Okay.
Okay. So that's about the Kaule Yaka word. The next one is the example of this Kaukshe Yaka, pulled out from this book called Kadambari. So a few words about Kadambari. There was an author called Bana Bhatta. Most of you know him. Bana Bhatta ittenena Kadambari iti novel rachitamasti. So interestingly, Bana Bhatta started writing and he could not complete it. He died before that. So his son Bhushana Bhatta completed it. And therefore, the novel is divided into two parts. Purva Bhaga, which is written by the Bana Bhatta, and Uttara Bhaga, which is written by Bhushana Bhatta. So Purva Bhaga and Uttara Bhaga, the divisions are not based on storyline or something. Purva Bhaga will abruptly end at one place for no reason, and the only reason is because Bana Bhatta died. And then Bhushana Bhatta continued that storyline later on, which is called Uttara Bhaga. So Kadambari is actually a story of, again, a love story of Chandrapid is the name of the hero, and Kadambari is the name of the heroine. And the reason why this book is very famous, it is typically studied in the Sahitya MA courses. At least one part of this book is definitely studied in the MA courses. The reason is that this book is actually, it has very convoluted plots. So it's not a simple storyline that flows across. It's a lot of, there are many subplots that are intermixed with each other. There are some many recursive stories that are woven in between. Many people get reincarnated as in another form. So, I mean, as a joke, we can say that all the material that is required for a today's television soap opera is all available in this Kadambari book over here. And this was, in fact, the first novel that ever exists in the Sanskrit language, historically. And that is the reason by the word Kadambari, though it is the name of this particular novel, the word Kadambari is used as a synonym to novel in Marathi for sure, I think in Kannada also, probably in a couple of more languages. So Kadambari in Sanskrit is actually a name of a novel. But if you see Marathi, for example, the word Kadambari means novel. So the reason how this word came into existence is because it is attributed to the first ever novel historically in Sanskrit language. So this is a complex novel, to be honest. And this specific part over here, Vama Parshvavalambina Kauksheyakena Ishadhara Iva Chandanalata Bhishana Ramaniya Kritihi. So I don't know the full context, but here a lady is being described. So how is this lady? This lady is very beautiful, but she has a sword attached to her abdomen. So there is a beauty, plus there is a bhishanata, because there is an ugrata because of that sword and the warrior nature of that lady. So she is a beautiful lady, that's why the word Ramaniya. And at the same time, she is Bhishana. So he says Bhishana Ramaniya Akritihi. So the Akriti of that lady was at the same time Bhishana and Ramaniya. And why Ramaniya? Obviously because she was beautiful. Why Bhishana? He says Vama Parshvavalambina Kauksheyakena. So on the back left side, there was that Kauksheyaka, which is basically a sword, which was present with that lady, and therefore she was looking Bhishana, or the sword was looking Bhishana, howsoever is you want to interpret. She was looking Bhishana at the same time Ramaniya. And how is the Upama given? Sannihita Vishadhara eva Chandana Lata. So there is a tree of a Chandana Vruksha, or there is a veil of a Chandana, and on the branch of that Chandana tree, snakes are attached. So snakes are hanging from the branch of that Chandana tree. So Vishadhara ityukte Visham dharati saha Vishadhara, snake. So Sannihita Vishadhara eva Chandana Lata. So imagine a Chandana tree. So that's a mapping to Ramaniya. But well, that Chandana tree has all the snakes hanging from it. So that's the Bhishana part of it. So that beautiful lady with a sword to attach to her was appearing simultaneously Bhishana and Ramaniya, just like how a chandana tree on whose branches the snakes are hanging will look like, is the meaning of this particular fragment. I mean, unless you put it in the bigger context, probably this doesn't make more sense, but this is a simple isolated meaning that can be extracted out of these 5-6 words. Vama parashvavalambina kauksheyakena sannihita vishadhara iva chandanalata bhishanaramayya kritihi. So that example was extracted to indicate this word kauksheyaka, which means a sword. Finally, the third example for the Graiveyaka is from the Devi Saptashati. Ardhachandram tatha shubhran keyuran sarvabahushu nupuro vimalau tadvat Graiveyakam anuttamam. So, for those who don't know, Devi Saptashati is about the 3 forms of the Devi, Mahakali, Mahalakshmi and Mahasaraswati. Each of them fights with different asuras on one dimension, and then you can interpret these asuras as different bad characteristics inside a human which are being fought on a different dimension of interpretation. So this second chapter is about, so chapters number 2, 3 and 4 are about Mahalakshmi. So in the second chapter, the Mahalakshmi is supposed to be born from the Teja that comes out of the body of Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesha. So the storyline goes that all the Devas are irritated because of Mahishasura, who is giving them troubles, and therefore they pray Lord Vishnu, Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma, and from the bodies of these 3 lords, a Teja comes out and the Mahalakshmi is born out of that Teja. And then all the gods give some gifts or ornaments or astras to that Devi. So this is basically the part which discusses the astras that Vishwakarma gives to the Devi. So it says, Ardha Chandram tatha Shubhram Keyuran Sarvabahushu Nupuro Vimalau Tadvat Graiveyakam Anuttamam. So Vishwakarma, what all did he give to the Devi? He gave an Ardha Chandra, Shubhra Ardha Chandra. He gave Sarvabahushu Keyuran. So Keyura is an ornament of the hand. Nupura is an ornament of the leg. So he gave the ornaments of the hands. He gave the ornaments of the legs. And he gave the ornaments of the neck. Graiveyakam Anuttamam. Anuttamam means next to the Uttama. Anu-Uttam. No, I don't think. This must be Anuttamam probably. So the next to the Uttama, Graiveyaka. So Graiveyaka in this context refers to Alankara. So Vishwakarma gave the ornaments of the neck, the ornaments of the hand, the ornaments of the legs, and the Ardha Chandra is what this particular shloka says. We studied this for understanding this word Graiveyaka. So looking on the top, this sutra, it gives these dhakai pratyaya for one particular corner case. Like Kauleyaka is only for dog. Graiveyaka is only for Alankara. So question comes, is it really important to study this? And the answer is yes. And there are proof on the screen over here that you have these words regularly used in the Sahitya. And that's why it is important to study this sutra. Let's go to the next set of sutras. Again, very simple. So here we finished the Kulakukshigrivaabhyaha part. Let's go to this Nadyadibhyaha dhaka. So Nadyadi ganasya vishaye dhak pratyayah bhavati. So one important point to talk over here, there is a Nadi Samnya which is in the Prathamadhyaya se Chaturtha Pada, use Triakhyo Nadi. That has nothing to do over here. This is just a Nadyadi Gana which consists of words like Nadi, Mahi, Kaushambi and so on. Okay, so this is not the Nadi Samnya which you might have studied in the Subanta Prakaranam. This is the word Nadi, which is the first word of the Nadyadi Gana. So Nadyadibhya dhaka pratyaya bhavati. So Maheya, Kaushambeya, Nadeya and so on. The next sutra says Dakshina Paschat Purasaha Yak. So the words dakshina, south, paschat, west, puras, east, these words will get tyaka pratyaya. So dakshinayam bhavaha dakshinatya. Very, I mean, I think it's used in non-other languages also. Marathi for sure. Paschat plus tyaka, paschatya. Puras plus tyaka, paurastya. So very well-known words. Paschatya is also one of the commonly used words. Hindi also they use it. The next one is Kapishaha Shphaka. Pishi is the name of a country. Shabdat Shphaka Pratyaya Bhavati. Kapisham Bhava Kapishayana. Ayaneyiniya Phadakachagam. So Pha becomes Ayana. Ka is used for Adivruddhi. Kapishi plus Shphaka Kapishayana. Sh is used for the nish pratyaya. So in the Strilinga, this will be Kapishayani. So Kapishi is the name of the country which was famous for creating wines, alcohol. Okay, so there is this very famous Subhashita. Many of you would have heard it. Kapirapi Kapishayana madhumatto vrishchikena sandashtaha apipishachagrastaha kim brumo vaikritam tasya. So effectively, this Subhashita is used to describe a person who is completely out of his senses. So he says kapirapi. So imagine a monkey. So first of all, it is a monkey. So you cannot guarantee what he will do. So kapihi api kapishayana madhumattaha. So first he is monkey, and then he has drank the alcohol from the kapishayana place. So sorry, the alcohol which is called kapishayana. So kapisham bhava kapishayana. So this is basically the wine produced in that place. So kapishayana madhumattaha. So he has drank that alcohol. On the top of that, there is a scorpion which has bit him. So vrishchikena sandrishtaha. So there is first a monkey, so you cannot put any bets on him. Then he has drank alcohol, and then there is a vrishchika that has bit him, so he's already irritated by that pain. And as if this all thing is not enough, he's pishachagrasta. So etadrushasya kapehe vaikrutam kim brumaha. There is no end to all the nonsense that he will create. So this particular Subhashita is used to describe a person who is out of his senses. So if somebody does something totally insane, he can be referred by quoting this Subhashita. Kapirapi kapishayana madhumatto vrishchikena sandashtaha apipishachagrastaha kim brumo vaikrutam tasya. So this is a passing remark. This was the Subhashita which uses this word kapishayana, kapisham bhavaha, kapishayanaha. And then 42101, a set of words, dyu, prak, apak, udak, and pratichaha yata. So dyu is the prathama ekvachan of diva. Diva means swarga. All these are actually chakaranta words. So prach, apach, udach, and pratich. Because of putting in samasa by chohokuhu, you have got the kakara over there. But the original words are diva, pracha, apacha, udacha, and praticha. Etebhya sarvebhya yat pratyaya bhavati. So diva ityukte swarge bhavati, swarge jataha, swarge bhavaha, divya. Pracham bhavaha, pracha. Apacha ityukte down, apacha. Udach ityukte up, udacha. Pratich, praticha. So east, west, up and down, or north and south, whatever is the correct interpretation. So divya, pracha, apacha, udacha, praticha. All these again well-known words. I mean, for example, divya, pracha, praticha. These are very well-used words. All these words are derived using these sutras. So my recommendation is that at least for the words that are well known, that you have seen used in the language, please try to remember the sutras. That's the only way, to enhance our understanding of the sutra patha. Anyway, I think let's go to the next slide, probably the last, or I think the second last one. So avyayat tyapa. So all the avyayas get the tyapa pratyaya. And then there is a Vartika which actually lists the list of avyayas. So it says all the avyayas, but he says no, not all the avyayas. Ama, iha, kva, trasi, trebhya eva. So avyaya tyapa ittenena sarvebhya avyayebhya yaha tyapa pratyaya vidhiyate tasya vidhanam kevalam etebhya avyayebhya eva kartavyam. So ama plus tyapa amatya, iha plus tyapa ihatya, kva plus tyapa kvatya, and then this tassa, tasi and tra are actually other pratyayas. So tataha is a tasi pratyayanta shabda. So tataha gets a tyapa pratyaya shabda, tyapa pratyaya, and tatra is also a tra pratyayanta shabda. Tatra plus tyapa tatratya. So this tasi and tra pratyayas we will be seeing, they are not in any of the 5 mahotsargas, they are outside them, but we will see them in the due course when we reach those sheets. The next one says tyapaha tyap nehe dhruve. Again very simple. Ni shabdat dhruva ityukte nitya, fixed, asmin arthe tyapa pratyaya bhavati. So actually nitya is the word that is derived from this. Ni plus tyapa, nitya means fixed or always. So nehe, ni shabdat, dhruve means fixed, artham darshaitum, tyapa pratyaya bhavati, ni plus tyapa, nitya. Durat etyaha. So dura will get the etya pratyaya. Dura plus etya, duretya. So durat agataha. So coming from a long distance, probably a traveler. So duretyaha ayam shabdaha pathikaha ityasya arthe prayujyate. Tadanantaram nisogate nirgataha varnashramebhyaha. Asmin arthe nisa shabda tyap pratyaya bhavati. So niso gate, gata over here means nirgataha varnashramebhyaha, the one who has been thrown out of the caste system. Nirgataha varnashramebhyaha saha nisa plus tyapa nishtya. So basically Chandala. So the category of people who were thrown out of the caste system in the olden days, they were referred as Chandalas. So nishtya. So nisa plus tyapa. There is this sutra which gives a shatvam. Nishtya means Chandala. And finally aranyat na vaktavyaha, aranye jataha aranyaha. So these are some of the vartikas. Again, there is no much shastra or nothing to discuss in these cases. You can go through them once again to enhance your understanding. The next set of sutras, hopefully the last one, Aishamaha Hyaha Shvas Anyatarasyam. So let's see this 42105 over here. So this is 42105. So this is the last set of sutras that we are looking at. 42105, 106, 107 and so on. So Aishamaha Hyaha Shvas Anyatarasyam Tyapa. So Aishama means Asmin Varshe, in this year. Hyaha means yesterday. Shvaha means tomorrow. So Aishamasi Bhavaha Aishamastya. Nochet Yastya. Nochet Shvastya. So remember that for the word Shva, we have seen 3 words in the same meaning. There was a Shawastika, then there was a Shwastana, and there is a Shwastya over here. Next one is Tira Rupya Uttarapadat Ayung. So Tira and Rupya, if it comes as an Uttarapada, then you get Aya and Yaw respectively. So for Tira you get Aya, and for Rupya you get Ya when they occur as an Uttarapada. So Kakatire Bhavaha Kakatiraha. Shivarupye Bhavaha Shaivarupyaha. Now if you see this pratyayas, again Anya has been reversed to get a ya. Remember, we have seen this pattern many times. We have seen it for the pratyaya ana versus rana. We have seen this pattern for thaya versus yitha. And now we are seeing this pattern for the third time, aya versus ya. So just the letters are reversed, and every time recollect that the purpose was stri pratyaya visheshaha. So aya is in that list of tidhan and so on. Therefore, we get an ikara, neep pratyaya over here. Whereas here you will get a tap pratyaya by ajadyatashta. So you will have kakatiri versus you will have shaiva rupya. The next sutra says dik purva padat asamnyayam yaha. Asamnyaya means when there is no name to be indicated. Dik purva padat. So when any direction is used as a purva pada, like purva shala, dakshina shala, and so on, you get ya pratyaya. So purva shalayam bhava paurva shala, dakshina shalayam bhava dakshina shala, and so on. The next sutra is same dik purva padat madrebhyaha aya. So purva madre bhava paurva madra, apara madre bhava apara madra. And finally, prasthottara pada paladyadiko padhat ana. If there is a prastha coming as an uttara pada, or if the word belongs to the paladyadi gana, or if the word is a kopadha, then you get an ana in this particular context. So madri prasthe bhava madri prastha, parishadi bhava parishada, nilinake bhava nailinaka. So I ran through these, but there is like no complexity involved over here. It's basically pratipadikas and pratyayas. A straightforward mapping is there. By now, you should be able to follow these sutras on your own. There is one point that I want to mention over here. If we go a little bit back, in fact, I can see if I can refer to it here. So there is this sutra which says 42122, which is highlighted on the screen, which says prastha pura vahantatcha. So anything that ends in a prastha or a pura or a vahanta. So we have seen this sutra in the previous class. The point that I want to highlight over here is there is this prastha sitting over here. So it says anything that ends in a prastha. Whereas in the current context, it is prastha uttara pada, which means anything which has an uttara pada as prastha. There is a slight difference between the two. The terms uttarapada and purvapada are typically used when there are two different words in a samasa that is attached to each other. So madri prastha is actually created by two different words, madri and prastha, and therefore prastha is an uttarapada over here. However, in the particular example that we saw over here, mala prastha is not derived from mala and prastha as two separate words. It is a straightforward word, mala prastha. And therefore here, prastha cannot be separated out as an uttarapada. Like for example, take any random word, say vyakarana. So you just cannot separate rana on your own and say it is rana uttarapada and vyaka purvapada. The reality is that there is a v plus a plus karana. This is the division. So you cannot randomly split it up. In the same way here, you cannot randomly split up mala and prastha. So mala prastha doesn't characterize for the word prastha uttarapada. It is still technically prasthanta. Therefore, there is a difference between a prasthanta and a prastha uttarapada. Everything which is a prastha uttarapada will definitely be prasthanta, but words which are prasthanta need not be prastha uttarapada because you cannot separate them out properly. Therefore, if there is a prastha uttarapada, you use this particular sutra. If there is a prastha which is not an uttarapada but just as an anta, you use this particular sutra. So that's all. That is a difference I wanted to highlight. You have any questions?
Yeah, where will you find Indraprastha?
So Indraprastha will fit in this particular context. It will not fit in the Prasthanta, because there is Indra and there is a Prastha, two clear words sitting over there. I don't know the exact derivation, but I know that it fits in this one. So Indraprasthe bhavaha aindraprasthaha iti tasya rupam bhavati. Okay. So I think with this, there are two more sutras that I want to cover. Okay, very, very simple sutras actually. Radnyaha kacha. So this is one of the sutras that we left in one of the Desha Prakarana. So there is Radnyaha kacha over here and Parvatatcha. So these are the two sutras that I will cover and then we will stop. So Rajan Shabdat Shaishikeshu Artheshu Cha Pratyaya Bhavati Tatha Rajan Shabdasya Kakaradeshaha api bhavati. So Radnyaha ka cha. So this cha effectively says that cha pratyaya can be brought from the top. So if you see, there is a cha pratyaya running all the way, and this cha pratyaya is to be brought over here. In addition, the Rajan word gets a Kakaradesha. So Rajan plus cha, Rajaka plus cha, alontyasya iti antyadeshaha, Rajaka plus cha, Rajakiya. So one of the very well-known words, Rajakiya, Rajan plus cha ityanena asya sutrasya shabdasya nirmanam bhavati. Radnyaha idam no chet radnyaha jataha Rajakiyaha. Now interestingly, understand that Rajan itself is a Vruddha Samyak. Therefore, it will automatically get the cha pratyaya. So this particular sutra is only used for giving the ka adesha. The cha pratyaya, though it comes as an anuvrutti, is automatically available because of vruddhachaha. Ataha atra praya Kashika eva vadati adesha matram iha vidheyam. So this sutra is used only for the adesha matra. Pratyayah tu vruddhachaha ityeva siddhaha. The pratyaya is attached to vruddhacha, attached by vruddhacha itself. And the next sutra, a few steps down the line, is parvatatcha. The same, parvata plus cha, parvatiya. So parvatiyaha pradeshaha, no chet parvatiya nadi, no chet parvatiyaha vrukshaha, and so on. Parvatat cha ityanena parvatiya iti siddhyati. So with this, we have covered the apavadas of the Shaishika Prakaranam, which are common for all the arthas. Adimam sutram sheshe iti asmabhi pathitam. Tadanantaram 4 to 93 ityataha arabhya 4-3-24 iti yavatsu sutreshu anpratyayasya Shaishika Prakarana Vishishtaha Apavadaha ye dattaha santi te sarve asmabhi vistarena pathitaha. So except for like 10 sutras, we have learned this entire sheet over here. And so we now know all the apavadas of the Shaishika Prakaranam. So if we go to the original sheet that we have been referring, the Shaishika Adhikara starts at Sheshe, and starting from Rashtravara Paradghakau all the way up to here. We did not see this last vibhasha, but we saw this. Sayam chiram prane prage avyayebhyaha tutulau tuccha. So iti yavat yani yavat susutreshu ye kepi apavadaha dattaha santi te sarve asmabhihi apathyanta. Idanim agre gatva agrima vargat arabhya pratyekam artham svikrutya tasya arthasya vishaye adhikam janimaha. So most of these arthas will have no apavadas. So for example, Vyaharati Mruga Tadasya Sodham, no apavadas. Deyam Rune has only 2-3-3. There are few arthas which have around 10 or so apavadas, but none of them are complex. Most of them are pretty easy. So these are the arthas that we will take up one by one, and we will go through them. With each artha, we will first study the meaning of the artha and then we will study all the apavadas. So remember that for each of these arthas, the apavadas have to be looked at 3 places: at the list which is given immediately after, or at the list which is common at the Shaishika Prakaranam, or in the list which is present all the way at the top. And if you don't see an apavada anywhere here, then you fall back to the anapratyaya by default. अतः अग्रिम वर्गात् आरभ्य चतुर्विंशतिः शैशिकाः अर्थाः तथा प्रत्येकस्य अर्थस्य विषये अणप्रत्ययस्य ये केऽपि अपवादाः दत्ताः सन्ति तेषाम् अध्ययनं करिष्यामः. So the next class will be on the next weekend as usual, 10:30 in the morning. And the link for the hangout will be updated like 10-15 minutes before the class. Thanks for attending. If you have any questions, feel free to send an email. We will close with the Samarpanam. Ashtadhyayi Jaganmata yasya chittat samuthita vedanam upakaraya tasmai paninaye namaha shabda brahma samaradhya kritavanyo vilakshanam सर्वाश्चर्यमिदं शास्त्रं तस्मै पाणिनये नमः येन धौता गिरः पुंसां विमलैः शब्दवारिभिः तमश्चाज्ञानजं भिन्नं तस्मै पाणिनये नमः. धन्यवादः.